Through the prayers of Holy Fathers, to Jesus Christ, our God, of mercy on us and save us. Amen. Good evening. For those new here, my name is Father Joseph Swaden. I've worked in Orthodox apologetics since 1998, and I'm the founder of NFTU, True Orthodox and Ecumenical News, since 2004. We've been in the apologetic space on Facebook since 2016 and on YouTube since 2018 or longer. If you appreciate what we do here, please like and subscribe. Today we are doing an end of the month session. Just kind of trying to get everything cleared up for the end of the month. Um, Basically to continue answering questions. Okay, I see a greeting. Hello. I don't know who that is. We'll see. And then let me just take a look here. I am gonna go to. I will say that there was some good news on yesterday's stream. So we did get actually, I do want to add those too. Hold on. Because the target is now $280. The target yesterday got to 345. And I did actually receive, let me just see here. I want to adjust everything. Okay. So we're going to add L, and we're going to add okay. 15 for monthly, and so I'm going to put that here. So the target for the last day of the month is 280. I am going to put that there, and hopefully we make it. Yesterday, for those who have not seen the Sunday stream, I actually did do a 6-hour stream. So let's take a look here. Greetings. God bless Father. Before Roll 2007 was Roll part of the True Church? The answer would be, I would say yes. Good evening, Allison Bernier. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. It's donut time. Please pray for me and my family to be joined to the living body of Christ the Church. God bless Didymus. I hope that everything works smoothly through your family conversion. So yeah, we're here at the end of the month. Yesterday we did a 6-hour stream. It was very interesting. We ended up talking to some kind of free grace person who I guess believed that good works didn't matter at all. So a person could be unrepentant and still be saved. It was very odd. You can check that out. It's basically the last 2.5 hours or so of the stream when we went looking for opponents. Are we looking for opponents today? You betcha. We are. But again, one thing that we are definitely looking for is if you can't support the channel. So I know I sound like a broken record, but it is the end of the month, so I have to do that. And basically, the end and the beginning of the month are the worst. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at NFTU.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LGC, or XMR, or on Give, Send, Go. All right, let's see here. Sunrise says, yesterday hurt my head. Oh, you and me both, buddy. I've never done a 6-hour stream. Was surprised that I could do a 6-hour stream. I don't think I'm going to do a 6-hour stream again. In terms of donations that helped, this is going to surprise people, but believe it or not, when I decided to go on and keep going and we went to 6 hours, like the 3-hour mark was basically the last point of a donation. So everything else was just me yammering with people at no cost. So God bless you, Taylor. And so it's good to see you there. So What do we have today? Allison Bernie says he's more yelling than expected last night. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Saba says Blago Slim Bognash, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. And so yeah, didn't expect to stream today. No, but I am still. It's the end of the month. I've got to try. So hopefully someone sees me early on and wants to be able to assist. Um, and so let me see here. The synonymous fellow Barnold says, "Where did the true believers go after the 2007 problem with Rocorn P?" They split off and they joined with Metropolitan Fungal, and before that, they had joined with Metropolitan Vitali, and they had joined with the ROAC, and they had joined with the RTOC. I mean, they went to a lot of places, but there were organized Rocor attempts as well that they went to that, to that point as well. So all of those options are real and occurred. So let me see here, and yeah. Let's see. There's a couple of things we could talk about today, though. The first one, I'm just going to put this up here, Norman. God bless you. Good day to all. And so I'm gonna throw this out here because this is an interesting thing that occurred today. Let's just present it. And today we see that the ecumenical patriarch was at an iftar dinner with the Turkish president in Ankara, Turkey. Um, this comes on the heels of the Jerusalem patriarch and the Catholic community heads in Jerusalem going to an iftar dinner about 2 weeks ago in Jordan. So you can kind of see the not only the party lines, but also the you can also see the geographical, geopolitical lines being drawn just by looking at these iftar dinners. Okay, I just realized I have to give an iftar dinner. Sunrise asks, "What is an iftar? An iftar dinner. An iftar dinner is a dinner that's usually held at the end of the day. As I remember, it's primarily during Ramadan. And maybe for other things as well, but it's a to break the fast. Now, granted, in Islam, you kind of have a pre-fast before sunrise, so you eat before and eat after. But the point is, at least in the one in Jordan, I assume the one in the EP they did as well. They served food that was good for the Christian fast. Give me just a moment, please. I have a crying dog. I have to give her water. I forgot to do that. 1 second, please. Okay, dog. Hold on. Okay, I have given the dog water. No, it's not. Yeah, so it's probably related to Eid. I agree, Allison. This Saba says this isn't the first time Bartholomew participated in an iftar meal. It's not. But I find it interesting that we're seeing the leaders of world orthodoxy at these junctures so close together. That is kind of unique. And this was a buried lead. Of course, the main lead was that the Serbian patriarch wanted to visit the holy sites. So again, this is kind of a minor thing, but it's the politics underneath it. It's just the reality of it, unfortunately. So, um, that's what happens. So let's take that off the screen. We had some there was some questions and interesting issues that came up in the past day or so. Let me see here. Sava says, haven't there been World Orthodox bishops went to Seder meals with Jews? Absolutely, there have been. I think that the more interesting one was the one in Jordan because they started talking about Christian Zionism and the fact that that's kind of a novel teaching, where even some evangelicals were like, our name has been ruined by these Christian Zionists. So I think that that is an interesting aspect of it. But I think we're seeing like that Jordanian kind of Russian axis, whereas, this is kind of the Turkish, Israeli, U.S. axis that would be forming on the other side. So these are things that I think have to be considered as opposed to simply limiting it to ecumenical questions. Okay, first off, thank you for that. I did see thank you for your generosity. I'm going to put that in for TH. Give me a moment. And that was for $20 on Cash App. So that definitely helps us get to our goal. We are getting closer and closer and down to 260 for the total goal. So thank you again. God bless you. And you are in our prayers as always. And I am going to update the numbers because we are now getting close to breaking it down completely. These are basically end of month goals I'm trying to cover. So if we can break that 260, that would be a relief. If we don't break that 260, I'll have to figure out something else, and it probably won't be pretty, and I'll be stressed out the whole week, and everyone will be stressed out. It's just awful. The Orthodox Zionism thing is big in the Serbian Patriarchate. That is odd to me. I have seen some references to that where there are many, and I shouldn't say many, but there are some Serbs in that I have seen on some socials who are like, we identify with the Jews because we're also suffering people. But I've always understood kind of the Serbians to more identify with the Russians, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's gaining a foothold. I have no idea. And if so, well, that's odd in and of itself. So let me see here what else we've got going on. We did have an interesting comment that I did want to talk about. It looks like it was one or two comments from a person who may, I think he's a Matthewite, or at least he's a Matthewite sympathizer, and he had some concerns with how I was presenting things on the channel. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So I definitely will want to, kind of let's take a look at it and see what I wanted to see what he has to say. Let me see here. Oh, this is a new comment. I guess it's an angry atheist. It's hilarious how apologists have to seek out terrible skeptics to somewhat fake the optics of winning a debate. I wasn't trying. Let me see here. Honorius was also anathematized in the Roman breviary until the post-Tridentine reforms. That's Justinus, and I appreciate that. But that was not the comment I was looking for. I believe it was this one. This was about 14 hours ago, but let me see here. I'm trying to find it. So I'm going to have to probably go into because a lot of the messages get lost. So I'm going to have to go into Studio and look at it that way and see if I can find it there. Sunrise says there's a video of Serbian Patrick, I believe, participating in synagogue service. Yeah, there's actually quite a number of those. So that's not a surprise. But yeah, I never connected it to the Jews. I mean, the Serbs identifying with the Jews. Barnold asks, what's the difference between high IQ and low IQ anti-Semitism? I don't understand that question. It's to me, it's not something that I look at things in terms of a global perspective. I look in terms of, things like the state of the Holy Land, who's in charge of it, who is keeping it, who's protecting it, so on and so forth. I think in terms of Christian sites and Christian history, I don't do nearly as much eschatological thinking as many people. A lot of people really like to talk about, they like to talk about, the end times and the Antichrist is coming right now. And then all of a sudden the whole thing gets foiled because a red cow grows a white hair on it. So, I mean, I don't do too much of that. But I do look at the role of Israel in what they're playing in the modern world. And, in that sense, there's a lot that is worth being concerned about. So, and I don't see that as anti Semitism. I see that as being honest about what is happening on earth. Um, so, yeah, there was a Matt that, yeah, Sunrise, thank you for that. There was a Matthew who did critique, or at least appears to be a Matthewite, or seems to be a Matthewite, um, a Matthewite, kind of a sympathizer. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so I found it. Now let me see. That's 14 hours ago, and this is not. This is on. Let me see here. I love these comments. I'll find these hidden comments that somebody wrote like ages ago. Like I missed this one. Somebody 3 years ago wrote, "Debate a real Catholic infidels." Okay, that's not the comment we're looking for, but um, just why not? We're here every Sunday. Anyway, this is the comment that we were talking about. It's a fairly new comment, and it was 14 hours ago. It's pretty big. And I did want to read it because I think that we should look at different people's perspectives. I don't think that, I should present my perspective as the only one, nor the only correct one, because I don't think that that's fair. So let me see here. So I'm going to assume that there was a reference to the Matthewites in this video on the Copts and on the Roman Catholics. I was not aware of that. Yeah, there are a lot of Matthewites online. Some of them are lovely people. I agree. So let's take a look at what was said here. He says, and it wasn't the Matthewites who, as you claim, switched the light of grace to a correct in already condemned innovation. The libel of 1935, which was basically a synod reaffirming the consensus path from confessing the conscience of the genuine Orthodox of the time and declaring that the state church has no grace, was not written by the Matthewites because there were no Matthewites yet. Yes, but the light switch theory, if I remember correctly, was coined by Callistus of Corinth by shutting the light off during a meeting in explaining grace. I could be wrong on who said that, but the light switch, the light switch ecclesiology or theology is. I didn't come up with the term, and it was considerably later than the early history of the Matthewites. So I agree with you there. The libel, and I assume he means the libellus, because libel is something else in English. The libel of 1935 declared the new calendarist ecumenist schismatics. So the question becomes as follows: do the schismatics who committed schism based on heresy have grace? The schism was already 10 years when the libel was declared. Based on this confession, Chrysostom of Florina ordained bishops. Yeah, okay, so we'll go with that so far. Also, if a bishop believes that the synod from which he walled off continues to have grace and ordains bishops, he creates a parasynagogue. Enoch stated, I assume he means Bishop Enoch, that if there are no Orthodox bishops, you cannot go back to the condemned heretics to be ordained. But Chrysostom of Florina did exactly that. Keep in mind that he first off, Chrysostom of Florina, if we're being technical, did not ordain any other bishops except the ones that were there, including Bishop Matthew. He died after committing the schism inside the genuine Orthodox community with no additional ordinations, which is what I just said, leading essentially his flock back to the ecumenists, except, as I understand it, he was telling people to go to the communities that were under Archbishop Matthew. And what did St. Father Matthew do? He did, by the grace of God, preserve the struggle of 1924 and handed us here in Greece the genuine Orthodox Church. What did the Florinites do? Switching on and off constantly the lights of grace through the years, deceiving the ignorant, mocking God to end up in 2014, uniting with the Cyprianites, and not still sure if the pan heretics have grace. Come on, let's be reasonable. Well, I mean, if we're being reasonable, the Cyprianites were, in fact, part of the Florinites before. So that would have been the resolution of an internal schism. The expansion of the Cyprianites into something larger than the Florinite movement is, I think, a little unfair and a little unrealistic, as it's certainly not the position of most Florinites. I understand that you come from Rokor and need to justify why they were communicating with the ecumenistic patriarchates and not losing grace. But Rokor's hierarchs were not that naive and ignorant of ecumenism and apostasy, and we can not use the principle of the one who commemorates heretics as himself a heretic towards the ecumenists, but not to the schismatics of the old calendar communities. Well, here it looks like you're kind of wanting to have your cake and eat it too. Rokor obviously was convenient and helpful for regularizing not just the Florinites, but the Matthewites. So, in fact, everyone needed Rokor. And in fact, in the early 1970s, all of the true Orthodox Greeks were in communion. You can't then just flip flop Rokor into being as bad as the OCA and just say, they were all ecumenists anyway. That's not how this works. So, that's kind of where my real concern is. And so let me see here. I respect the work to put on to expose ecumenism, but you fall into the ecumenism of old calendarism, sadly. Well, the old calendar ecumenism accusation from the I want to say 84 anathema, where basically, I guess that was a Matthewite anathema against saying that everyone who was old calendar was Orthodox. The big problem is that outside of a few deluded people, most people were not saying that. So that's in and of itself, that is something worth investigating. It's something worth talking about. And I do like the fact, I respect, your position, but I think we're going to have to pull out some of the paperwork and go over it, because I think that's the only way to deal with that fairly. Let me see here. And so let's see. Sunrise says, and okay, it looks like I wasn't able to put this up. I guess it was up or it wasn't up. I'm just a mess today. This was a comment again, and this was on the closing the Monophysite case and how to destroy 90% of papal arguments with one manuscript. So if you are interested in continuing that discussion, you can, and I think that that's fair. Yeah, the term, I always wonder where the term old calendar ecumenism came from. Interesting. Yeah, it comes from an old Matthewite anathema that came shortly after the anathema against ecumenism, which basically said that anyone who was recognizing, I think this was partially due to the Ukrainians, that they didn't want to recognize them. But I'd have to look at the original papers where they basically said it was a totally different definition of ecumenism, and it basically just meant that like any apostate who happens to be on the old calendar, if you consider him Orthodox, you're an ecumenist, and most people didn't do that, so it is just odd. Sunrise asked, yeah, I did put the text on the screen. I can try to put it back if you'd like. Give me a moment. And let me just go back. Hold on. Okay, and I'm going to share this tab instead, and hopefully that should put that up on the screen so that you do have that. Okay, Barnold, can you tell the story on how you became a priest? I'm going to be honest with you, Barnold. I'm kind of getting suspicious. You might be a certain person that kind of got banned, and if you are, it's gonna because I'm seeing this sort of autistic pattern I've seen before. Does the GOC take Sarah from Roses and Saints? Barnold, the GOCK does. Though a lot of people about true orthodoxy consider Father Sarah from Platten to be a saint. That's true. There are many people, even in our synod, other synods, who do. Yeah, that's what I would say there. Tell us the story how you got the green drink. Oh, well, you all know that story. We can always just put Chuck back on. But really, that's what it came down to. I was watching Paul Joseph Watson, and he played this whole commercial. Obviously, he did it for money, but the point is, I was watching and I thought, I'd like to see what Chuck Norris created. So, I decided to go check it, and it turned out that it was a very healthy drink. And I signed up for it. Just, he basically, at one point, the guy said, hey, if you try it for 3 days and you don't feel better, you get your money back. So I tried, and it felt better. So this Theodore in Texas was trying to offer me blue drink. I don't know what that is. I can't speak for the blue drink. No, I never got banned. I'm brand new, and I told you went to the GOC first time yesterday. Okay, that's fine, Arnold. I apologize. No, there's not much of a story to how I became a priest. I had been a deacon for many years. I'd been a deacon for, I want to say, 11 or 12 years. And it wasn't until I got kind of hard pressed by a bunch of people to do a debate on a channel that we all know and love called Crucible, that I did the debate, and it was crazy, and a lot of people reacted, and I told the bishop, and the bishop said, you can't represent us publicly as a priest, as a deacon, so we're going to make you a priest. There's the whole story. Sava says, I wonder what happens if you drink all the drinks of color. Well, unfortunately, it varies. It depends. There's permutations, dimensions to the drinks of color. Sunrise says, whatever happened to Brother Nathaniel? Is he still Roquan P? To my knowledge, yes. He hasn't actually gone anywhere, and I don't think he will. Let's take a look here. So once again, I don't know, Sunrise, if that's been on the screen long enough, I'm going to take that off. Okay, so notice I can't automatically just take off something and it goes back to normal. You have to kind of hand switch the display. So once again, I'm going to note, support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR, or on Give, Send, Go. So yeah, let me see here. Oh wait, and I think I actually forgot something to make it even better. There was a Give, Send, Go. One moment, and I just have to put that on the screen because I had forgotten it, and not because I didn't want to, but that. Give me one moment, and we have to add that. We're adding it now. So. Okay, and this one is Give, Send, Go. All right, and that target is now 185. And so I'm going to change that to 185 because there was a Give, Send, Go just a couple of hours before the stream. So we are now down to $185 target for the month. That's what I'm trying to reach. Whoever can help, we really appreciate it. Whether it be through the super chats or through anything else, let us know. Let me see here. Is it a rule that a priest have to wear the black long sleeve? A priest has to wear a cassock, and in general has to wear one outdoors. In the as it's said in the canons when he is out on the street. Is a priest required to wear one inside his house? There are many people, like Metropolitan Demetrius highly recommends it. There are many people who are definitely for it and have good reasons for it, which the most practical reason is you don't have to change between going inside and outside the house. Am I wearing a cassock now? Yes, I am. Have I always worn a cassock indoors? on this stream? Absolutely not. Many remember the wonderful sweater, which, as it gets warmer, is untenable now. And I've worn shorter sleeve shirts indoors. This is my house. I can do that. So let me see here. Sunrise says, "Do you know I abbot of the Holy Cross in West Virginia left Hockton to go Rocor MP? He was never with Hockna. He was at HTM, but he thought they were too zealous. I know a man who went there and said something along the lines of Metropolitan Filler, it can't be a saint as he supported zealotry and schism." Sunrise says, "I see my former World Orthodox priest said told me he was up there." Okay, well, yeah, that answers that. West Virginia is a unique situation. They're kind of like they do their thing. Give me a moment. I got my this is my clear drink or water. So yeah, that I hope answers a lot of the questions. But yeah, we're almost there. Glory to God. And let's take that banner off and let's continue on. And so, what else have we got? I heard they sing Protestant Christmas hymns there. That wouldn't surprise. Not at HTM. I'm assuming in West Virginia, Sava. It would not surprise me. People singing them like for the dinner or something. But not. I don't think they should be sung in the church. But I mean, I think it's kind of silly to go after people for Christmas carols. Like, I really don't understand the logic behind it. If it's outside, if it's at the dinner, it's not much anything else. If you live in Russia, many people, when they're not in church, if they're singing during a great feast in the dinner, there's folk hymns being sung, etc. I think it's just it's in poor taste to go after Christmas carols. That's just me. Sava says they sing them after Trapaza. Oh well, they do that at HTM, but it's not the worst thing at HTM. I've never heard them sing Christmas travel carols at HTM, but you could be right. I did not. I spent a good amount of time at HTM, but I don't understand HTM now. I haven't been to HTM in just about 2 decades. So yeah, the sweetbread didn't exist when I was there. There was no HTM sweetbread back then. That is something that came with Metropolitan Gregory. I have no idea. I've read about it. Barnold says, "What is GOCM and is it like GOCK?" GOCM, formerly known as the Lamian Synod, was originally an initiative group of Greek bishops who wanted to right the wrongs caused by the deposition of Archbishop Maxentius, among other canonical anomalies, and then later decided that they would elect their own archbishop, Archbishop Macarius of Athens. And they claim to be a competing group. But I would say that in terms of size and actual spread, it's not. They're bigger on the internet than they are in real life, except in Greece. In Greece, there are a lot of GOCM people, but there's also a lot more GOCK people, and there's a lot of GOCA people, and there's a lot of Matthewite people. The point is, Greece has a lot of true Orthodox people, okay? And so, but I don't understand why people have to look for, new groups that they haven't ever seen in this country to bring here. I knew that was the next question I was going to get. Is there a GOCM parish in America? I've heard there is now one in Tampa, Florida. I don't know anything about it. Sava knows about it. And I guess I don't know if he's been there. Let me see here. No, let's see. I don't know if it is sweet. I have no idea what it looks like. Challah to me, which is a Jewish bread an egg wash bread that I've seen in some Jewish communities. It looks to me like the same thing, but I could be wrong. John MC says they sing nativity and paschal hymns to old Appalachian melodies. In our old, mostly Russian parish, we sang Silent Night, etc. in English and in Russian. Okay, that's fine. Barnold, yes, they're the same thing. Sunrise, see John. Yeah. Sava says I haven't been there. There's a lot of True Orthodox to visit in Florida, so I might see it one day. Yep. Okay. Well, here we are in the 35th minute of the first hour. So things are moving along. And we are just continuing forward as we try to finish off the month strong. And currently, we are now, after our 6 hour stream yesterday, we are now at a target of $185, which isn't bad considering I started yesterday with, we started with 500. Let me see here. And this is okay for nativity. I used to sing Bože Kije, yeah, old Serbian folk song. Okay. Um. So yeah, are there questions, comments? I have not put up a link yet. I could, if people want to join the comment section or ask people or ask things live. That's not a problem. I just did not know that I was going to be doing this stream until late last night, so I'm barely thinking. I had a doctor's appointment earlier, and so I'm trying to just trying to deal. So let's continue on. We'll there, and we will put the link up at the top if it allows me to pin. It does. So if you want to join the chat, you can. Just all you have to do is click on the link at the top of the chat. This is S Talk part of TO? Yes. Is GOCM part of True Church? Okay, these questions don't make any sense. It's like, yes, if something is called the Serbian True Orthodox Church, one would assume it's part of the True Orthodox Church. Is GOCM part of the True Church? We would presume so, as they claim to be part of the True Church of Greece, and that's where they derive their episcopacy. And the question of whether or not they can be recognized as the True Orthodox Church of Greece is something that must be settled within the True Orthodox Church of Greece. And so this is one of the reasons why I am not a fan of answering the famous why are you not talking to this GOC group? In most cases, the reason why is simply jurisdictional prudence. Quite frankly, it's not my job to do the job of the synods in figuring out who's got what problem, especially when I don't live in Greece. John MC says sunrise on Christmas Eve at Trappers at the Shepherd's Last Supper. Before the services, straw on the table, honey, garlic, 12 vegan dishes, etc. Also, how a rose are blooming. Okay. Give me just a moment. And so Sunrise says Trump released any more of those crazy AI videos. Not to my knowledge. Barnold, Rokana, Russian Orthodox Church abroad, North America. Not always the way they address themselves. They often address themselves simply as Russian Church Abroad, and their website, I believe, is rokana.org. Let me see here. So I think we've covered, we've covered that. Yeah. So Zava says Russian Orthodox Church Abroad in North America under his eminence Archbishop Andronic of Syracuse. That is correct. So there's a lot of true Orthodox people all over the country. When we're talking about the United States. So yeah, that's where we are. Once again, taking questions, comments, challenges. Other than that, yeah, I don't really have much else. We've got, our target. I think I may just go for another 20 minutes, honestly, if there's not much else going on, because I'm not gonna manufacture a reason to stay online. I'll just, the target is what it is, and the bills are what they are. So I got to figure that out. Yeah. So I thought it was still a great end of the month thing. I thought that discussion yesterday was very new. Arnold says, sorry, my questions are bad. I'm just really brand new to the GOC. The truth of the matter is, Arnold, and I hate to say this, but if you just went to a church today, the best person to ask, honestly, these questions is your priest. I'm not trying to be rude. That's, it's just that too much of our world is online, and we need to get out of that. We need to get to a community. We need to. The priest wasn't there yesterday. Um, on Sunday. Okay, okay, that's odd. But I guess you could ask him the next time. And yeah, we're here for answers. It's just that um, that's that's an odd situation to say the least. Um, let's see. Saba says there's no stupid questions. Thankfully, only stupid answers, but you probably won't find stupid answers here. It depends. But in any case, so yeah, it's been a crazy month. Um, and we are kind of going through it. We've got the Old Believer program. Presumably that's next Friday if nothing else pops up. I am not sure. But we're gonna work with what we have, and then of course, we have our live Q and A's. Now let's check the internet and see if there's anything interesting to jump into. Let's find out. So just quickly go here. All right, and let's turn on the streams. You see here. Someone else has given they've written a poem to Taco. Yep. Mm-hmm. Let's share this instead. So apparently Taco has he still has his followers. They've been coming since our stream last week. So this one says, "You absolutely wrecked this dude, Taco. Objectively dominated this guy. Intersubjectively suplexed him through the metaphorical announcer's table. Let us hope he'll stop suppressing the truth in his unrighteousness and come into the light of our shared naturalistic, atheistic reality." He wrote this on another stream while we're live. Let me see here. So I find that once again, there's just no luck with this. The StreamYard system used to actually switch back and forth when you pressed a button, so it would put something live and it would change your perspective, and then when you took it off, it would full screen you. And if it looks like I'm just skipping over putting things on, it's because they have actually changed this mechanism. So now I have to physically change the perspective of each shot. Sunrise, can an atheist ever speak without being cringe? I don't know. I don't think so. Sava says, with the old ritualist stream, I'm not exactly sure how you want to present it. Honestly, it was presented to me. It's not my original idea. Will it be a historical overview with additional comments, or is there something else you want to do with it? It's mostly I'm mostly leaving a lot of that to you. I'm not, this is a stream of interest to the channel, but it's I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Whatever kind of presentation you want to make is great. So this is kind of like, I don't mind that these desperate atheists are still making comments like this, because they're still giving me views, lots of them, and so I actually don't mind at all. So it's kind of funny, but let's see. I want to see what's on YouTube now. Share this tab instead. Let's make sure it's actually on the screen. It is not on the screen. So we're gonna stop sharing there. We're gonna close this. We're gonna try this again because it is not as simple as it makes itself out to be. All right, so let's go here. Let's go there and let's click there. We're gonna close that and go to YouTube and let's see what happens. What do we have to do on YouTube today? Let's click on live and let's see who's there. All right, Neurojack is there. I'm doing something with machine laws. Okay. Orthodox tradition. Right now, Great Compline is on.
God, that he may grant me forgiveness for the grievous deeds which I have committed, only blessed one. All holy Theotokos, do thou not abandon me, for as long as I live, do thou not entrust me to any human protection, but do thou thyself defend and have mercy on me.
Unto thee do I commit mine every hope, O Mother of God. Guard me under thy shelter.
Okay, so that is on right now. If you wanted to watch that, you can. I missed some questions because it gets confusing there. Someone said, "What do you think of St. Photius Orthodox Seminary people reviewing books written by people in World Orthodoxy?" I think that's been done forever. I mean, in the 1970s, True Orthodox reviewed New Calendarist books just to point out errors in them. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's go back to the YouTube channel. Let's see this. There's been a lot of weird things with streamers in Asia. All right, let me see if I can find anything live that's going on. Okay, so we got that. Okay, some Muslim thing. Some guys fighting spammers. Mr. Simps. JFK thing. Schedule. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Don't know. I don't want to know what that is. Okay, so nothing is live right now that we can go be a pain on and bother them. Yeah. Yeah, they do, Saba, they do sound like more like a cult than we do. Yep. Gotta have good lungs for it. Well, it depends. Yes, I've noticed the same, especially of late more than ever. Atheists have a true cult mentality. They're really starting to collapse. They really are. They're in retreat, and they are dealing with the harsh reality that God just makes more sense. Let me see here. Atomic Lead. Good evening to all. Good evening, Atomic Lead. Sunrise. Father Joseph plays Minecraft. Confirmed. That is absolutely not confirmed. Let me see here. Let's see if we've got anything in the subscriptions. Okay, no Fugazi. That's Great Compline. The JFK files. Muslims arguing stuff. Junk Silver. Neurojack. Sambucha. I have some very strange YouTube tastes. This particular One Nutty Productions was talking about medieval violence, and actually I found that it was not totally accurate. Alfati TV, Brass House, Michael Bordenaro. Life is a Chad. This is also sometimes it's good to go through these subscriptions just to know what you want to get rid of. I don't. Am I really subscribed to Steven Crowder? I mean, I'm sorry, buddy, but no, I gotta go. Peace out, bro. Yeah. It's good opportunity to get rid of things you don't want to see. Mhm. Let's see. Okay, congratulations to that guy. I like Christian Prince. It's just difficult. He's difficult to listen to sometimes. Gregory DeCopolite, I kind of feel bad for. He's willing to concede that the Rocor MP hierarchy is apostate, but what he's not willing to do is actually break from the apostates. Let me see here. Yeah, that doesn't look like much is going on even to review. because we're ending this month very quietly. We came in with a bang and we went out with a whimper. Or I went out with a whimper. Because we're in that last we're in the 50th minute of the first hour. I do question whether we're going to have a second hour on this one. I don't know. I'm extremely tired. Um, yeah. So says Gregory says he'll step and never step on the road or church again, but he's still with people or communion with them. Yeah, yes. Yeah. I'm pretty tired. Yeah, it is very odd. All right, so let's continue on. Let's see here. Health things. I don't even know that channel's still around. Yeah, I saw this morning. Oh, do. Yeah, not much going on other than that. Cold Cracker Bushcraft is an interesting channel, as is sometimes from Hormozzi's. But then there's stuff that I'm not surprised at all. And there's Cleave to Antiquity. He's been on our show before. And apparently he's having weird dreams about Chinese Orthodox churches. I wasn't sure what to think about this Egyptian desert and the Irish bogs thing. I know that people talk about the Celt Oriental connection all the time, but then it always gets overwrought. Yeah. Let's see here. No. Let's see. Okay, Galileo. Okay, I'm done. I'm really done here. There is nothing left on the internet. Sunrise is very odd. Did you see Elpidophoros comparing Trump to Saint Constantine? Yes, I did last week. That's so far gone. We've had like a whole chaos and taco battle with atheists since then. Oh yeah. So yeah, that happened last week, but it was pretty gross. And so, well, we tried. We aimed for the target again for the end of the month. We got to 185 left, so that means we broke 315. And so I mean, it'll be a crunch, but it'll be okay, and I can't complain. And so let me see here. Yeah, rare Elpidophorism. That's ridiculous. How is that a win? How is it a win? Is my point. Hold on. Yeah, that's really good. Got a couple of messages from people asking about things that are going on. You see here. And yeah, so they can. I mean, unfortunately, especially among people who frankly worship power more than they worship God, they're going to go after everyone who gets them closer to power. And Sava says, doesn't the Goards very vocally and monetarily support the Democrat Party? It turns out that they support, it's closer to like 60% Democrat, 40% Republican, so there's always deniability. Yeah, and John he says, yes, I saw that too. Trump had no idea what or whom Elpidophoros was referring to. He's out of his mind. I would like to believe that Trump even may have read some distorted Western history and has some conceptual idea of who Saint Constantine is. Nikolai Bauman says, is there a good email to reach out to Bishop Enoch? There is, but I would probably suggest sending him a private message on Gab Or if you'd like, if you jump on the stream real quick, I can try to give that to you privately. Just click on the link at the top of the chat. So that is because I don't want to I can publicize my email, but I'm not going to publicize his. My Gorge priest told me every Greek he met was a liberal. Yeah. And Saba says Nikolai Bauman Gap. Yeah. Saba, he does know who Nikolai is. It's just that reaching him may be tricky. And so, let me see here. What else have we got to go here? So yeah, again, I want to thank everyone who was willing to donate. We're at that that point where the month is going to end. It's going to end in 5 hours, and I have two choices: another 6-hour stream, or calling it even. And I'm going to call it even and figure out how to get that rest of it taken care of. But with that, I would like to say thank you. Oh, wait, Nikolai, one moment. I see you there. Give me just 1 second, okay? And I'm going to just put that in the private chat. I'm going to put in the private chat for you, okay? And that is there you go. There you go. And so with that, I am just going to note, no problem, Nicola. You have a great rest of your day. Okay, and what Allison Bernier with $20. Thank you. I'm trying to think of a good question for you. That's hey, you can save it till next session. I'll take the 20. Thank you. Let us think that keeps the house standing. So that's what we want to focus on. So I'm going to update that so that it is a super chat. I'm going to AB for $20. And that brings the total target down to 165, meaning we have totaled 335. And so, hey, that's close. That's close. That's great. No problem. No worries, John MC. Says sorry, I cannot donate. I had to cancel a subscription. Difficult financial space. Listen, I do not want anyone to send money that they actually need. Because if I'm in need and you send money to me and then you're in need, then we're both in need, and that's not good for anybody. So don't do that. You send what you can freely send without it being an issue. So no worries whatsoever, John. We will take your prayers and your vocal support as well. Saba says, Lord of Mercy. Someone says, my World Orthodox parents was kind of mixed, some more traditional, but also a guy who believed in evolution and said pseudo Dionysius. Nikolai Bauman says, thanks, Father, not a problem at all. And here we are at the very end of this stream and the very end of this month. So let's just say this. I want to say thank you to our listeners, to those who had questions and had comments, to those who support our mission. Whether they be hard questions, easy questions, it's fine. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at NFTU.net or on GiveSendGo. We remember all of you in our prayers, and thank you for all the support for NFTU. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And have a great night. Through the prayers of the Holy Father, Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Night all.